What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be getting into my Week 5 NBA power rankings. Let's get into it. Starting out the worst team in the league, in my opinion, kind of easy right now. The number 30 team, the Houston Rockets, at 2-14 right now. Just not a lot to say about the Houston Rockets. Yeah, this team not good really at all. They lost all 3 games this week. I don't know what else to say about the Rockets. They're the same Rockets we know about. It's just not a good team. And in my opinion, clearly the worst team. Just not a lot going for Houston right now. Going on to number 29, gonna be dropping down a spot this week. We had the Detroit Pistons, and a very underwhelming team for me this year. I thought this team could have surprised. They got a lot of talent. I do believe in Cade Cunningham quite a bit, but it's been frustrating for the Pistons. At 3-12 right now, they went 1-3 this week. They added Bogdanovich, to this lineup in a trade with the Jazz, and that has not helped one bit. This Piston team is very much struggling right now. And a team I thought at the beginning of the year could have been a playoff team. They just got to be better. Not a good defensive team. I don't think they're well coached really at all. It's got to be better in Detroit right now, or else this season could be over fast. Going on to number 28, we have the Orlando Magic going to be swapping places with the Pistons now, jumping up a spot at 4-10. Just jumping up because of the Pistons' struggles. This Magic team went 1-2, the Pistons went 0-4. I was reading the wrong records. Magic went 2-1, so a decent week for the Magic. Still really doesn't change my opinion on this team. This team's very young. They got a lot of pieces they could build off of with these young players and their rookies. But it's still not a good team in Orlando. I think they're a decently competitive enough team, but just not really good enough to do anything. All right, and then we got a new team down into the bad tier, number 27, the Los Angeles Lakers. Another huge letdown season for LA right now, at 3-10 right now. Went 1-3 this week. That does not help them out at all. The Lakers, man, how much more do we have to see from this team? LeBron James is trying to carry this team. He's not enough at this point. Anthony Davis is underwhelming. Russell Westbrook is not it for this team. And then everything else is horrible in LA right now. This team just not very good. And this team isn't really going anywhere, I think. I think this team is down in the dumps. That Russell Westbrook trade, I said at the time, that was a stupid trade. They really have no core around their star players that they so-called say. And with that trade, that just made it even worse. And that's one of the worst trades I think I've seen in a while for the Lakers. Just did not need to be done. Patrick Beverley, not really helping this team out either. It's just a mess in LA right now. Really don't want to be if you don't want to be a Lakers fan right now. All right, so that's the in the hunt tier. The bad tier. Let's go into the in the hunt tier. Starting at number 26, we have the Charlotte Hornets dropping down 3 spots at 26. Where are they? I can't even find them. Why can't I find the Hornets? Okay, there they are. Sorry. The mouse is right by it. But 4-11 right now with the Hornets. That's the records of the bad teams right now. LaMelo Ball comes back and really underwhelms. That's what worries me about the Hornets. Ball did not play well. He is off an injury, so I can't give him too much. Can't blame him too much. I think he's going to be solid. But he's struggled in his return right now, and it's costing the Hornets some games. They're very close to falling out of this tier. Right now, I'm keeping them just in it because I still do believe in this Hornets team and what they can accomplish. But it has been a rough few weeks for the Hornets, going 1-3 this one. All right, a new team into the in the hunt tier. We have the Indiana Pacers going to be jumping up 2 spots. Very surprising start for Indy at 6-6. just been a mid team. They very much remind me, if this was football, of the Colts over in Indianapolis, like this, actually the same city. I didn't even recognize that till now. But yeah, this team is literally like the Colts, just kind of a scrappy team, a team that shouldn't be this good right now at record-wise, but they are. And that's what the Pacers are. I do really like Benedict Makarin. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Their rookie. He's played very good for them. Don't really have a lot of talent elsewhere besides Miles Turner, but this team been surprising me this season. They're getting the job done, winning games. They're just a scrappy team, I think, right now. And they're winning games. You gotta credit them for that. They're 6-6, and I do think they belong in the hunt here at this point. Let's go on to number 24. We're gonna have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Gonna be jumping up 2 spots. The Thunder go 2-2 this week, really just jumping up because of the Lakers and the Hornets dropping below them. Yeah, the Thunder just got the job done. Have just been getting the job done. This team's a young team with Gilius Alexander. They got a lot of picks, obviously, so the future's bright in Oklahoma City right now. And these past few years has just been be a competitive team, give us something for the fans to come into the stadium for. Just be a decent enough team. That's what the Thunder are right now, and their season goal is probably just to go into the play-in tournament and maybe surprise to slip into the playoffs. All right, so that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's go on to number 23. We're gonna have the San Antonio Spurs. Gonna be dropping down a spot. Yeah, the Spurs had that 5-1 start earlier this year. It has gone downhill ever since. They go 0-4 this week. 1-4, sorry. But yeah, the Spurs were I didn't jump them up too much because of that good start, and I had a right not to. The Spurs are they're just a very well coached team, all around. Greg Popovich, you cannot underestimate how good of a coach he is. This team's young, but they really don't have a lot of talent. It's just really the Greg Popovich show and what he's able to do with this roster that makes them 6-9 at this point. It's a very untalented roster, but Greg Popovich is making the most out of it. Let's go on to number 22. We're going to have the Sacramento Kings going to be jumping up 2 spots. At 7-6 for the Kings. The Kings were solid. This week went 3-1. So actually 4-1. So very good actually for the Sacramento Kings. And now after a very sluggish start are starting to be more like the Kings that I was not anticipating, but what I think they should be. The Kings have been a very bunch of letdown team for a long time in the NBA. But they're getting the job done now. They got a lot of talent on this roster, as they have for a lot of years. And this team is just trying to make the playoffs for the first time in a long time and just try and not be an irrelevant franchise, because you just got to do it for the Kings. You got to find a way. And that's what they've been trying to do for the past decade. Right now, they're in the play-in. They're in the hunt tier, almost in that play-in tournament tier. It's a tough Western Conference to make it. But they're in it right now in the standings, so maybe they can sneak in it by the end of the year. Number 21, we're going to have the New York Knicks dropping down a spot. I'm just going to throw up the next team because these teams are so tight. Number 20, the Wizards. We'll get into them in a minute. But these teams are so tight, it was tough for me to rank. Knicks right now, though, at 7-7. They go 3-2 this week. So an impressive week by the Knicks all around. And yeah, they got the job done in their games. Knicks still the same team I was anticipating, though, with Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson and Barrett and all these other pieces. Just a solid enough team, but don't have a superstar player that I think is going to get them over the mountaintop right now. And in a very competitive Eastern Conference right now, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make it into that play-in tournament here. Right now, I don't think that one of the 10 best teams in the East. But let's go to 20. The Washington Wizards jumping up a spot and flipping spots with the Knicks here. The Wizards, they went 3-0 this week, so a good week for Wizards. For the Wizards, Bradley Beal, I do believe, is he back or wasn't he injured? Let me search up the Wizards right now. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go to stats. Beal has played 9 games. I think he's back in the lineup, so that's clearly helping them out here. And then obviously Kristaps Porzingis, he is playing good basketball right now at 20 points per game, getting a lot of rebounds here. You got Kyle Kuzma that they added. Just a solid team. I think I underestimated the Wizards coming into the year. This team's pretty solid, and they're going to be deserving of the 20 team right now. All right, going on to 19, we're going to have the Chicago Bulls going to be dropping down 2 spots this week. Frustrating week for the Bulls. They go 0-2, so they only played 2 games. But they have collectively dropped down 4 spots now over the past few weeks. Just this team has all the talent in the world. I just don't think this team meshes very well together. We saw it last year. At the beginning of the year, they were very solid, but they cooled off very quickly. And we're seeing it again this year. Just teams will figure out this Bulls team, and they just don't mesh very well together. But they do have all that talent. That's why they have 6 wins at this point. That's why they're able to get these wins. They got enough talent to do so. But they need to fit some things together, mesh better together. This team could be a very solid team. They just got to get things going right now. And they're struggling. But let's go to 18, the Toronto Raptors, a team that went 2-2 this week. Just another one of those cases where they're jumping up because of the Bulls. Do think they're a better team. At 8-7 right now. Yeah, the Raptors. Same Raptors I've been saying all year. Really, my opinion doesn't change on them. They're a very well-coached basketball team. They got some talent around with what's his face? I totally forgot. But the power forward for the I don't even know. I have to see this. Okay. I was thinking Ibaka for a minute, but I know that is not who I'm thinking. Pascal Siakam, that's who it is. Okay. Sorry. And then OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, of course. All these players that are solid for them. Just not a superstar. Very similar to the Knicks. Just I think the difference is the Raptors are better coached. And that's what I think they deserve 18. So let's go into number 17. We're going to have the Pelicans this week go 3-1. Good week for New Orleans. And obviously Zion Williamson, this has got to be his year to have a good year. He's starting to step it up. He had an injury earlier, but he's okay right now. And then obviously Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum. This is a solid team here with Valanciunas as well. It's a decent team. Williamson is that star player that they needed, and they're playing solid. And right now, that's really what you should ask for if you're a New Orleans fan in the play-in tournament tier and just right in the mix. All right, number 16, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Don't know why I said New York, but I said that over the past 2 weeks, I think. But anyway, the Nets dropping down 2 spots. Now, a lot of you guys probably are shaking your head. Why are the Nets so high right now at 6-9? Yeah, it's been a frustrating town in New York. They go 2-3 this week, so I don't think that justifies them dropping down too much. Kevin Durant, there's worries that he's going to want out now with his trade request. I just don't think anyone's going to be able to afford him, so I think KD's stuck there. KD has just got to man up. This obviously Steve Nash. They need a better head coach down there with Steve Nash now gone. But now with KD, he needs to step up. He needs to be the leader that this team needs. And he needs to prove that he can get the job done and win a championship and have a good team. By himself without another superstar. Kyrie Irving, I would say, is a star, but I'm not saying Irving is a superstar. So it's just frustrating in Brooklyn. They have so much more potential than this, but I do think they're a play-in tournament team right now. Just not playing too good. But like I said, if they can get some things clicking, this team can be scary. So going on to number 15, we're going to have the Minnesota Timberwolves dropping down 2 spots. Frustrating start for the Rudy Gobert era in Minnesota right now. They go 1-3 this week, so disappointing. Rudy Gobert, it's been a rough patch for him. This team's very big with Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert. It just feels like this team doesn't really mesh together as well as they did last year. But I do think this Timberwolves team, very similar to the Nets, they got a lot of talent on this roster with D'Angelo Russell and all these players. This team's scary if they can get some things figured out, but right now they're struggling. So going on to number 14, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, the first playoff team off the board here. Philly, 7-7 right now, so just getting back after a very sluggish start, but getting back to 500, I think is big for this team. They go 2-1 this week. So now they can start focusing on real basketball here. James Harden obviously going to miss some time, but Joel Embiid, I think, is enough for this team to be a solid enough team. And I think that's why they deserve it right now, of 14. But Sixers, I do think they're going to need James Harden back if they want to make any noise in the playoffs right now. But they're in an Eastern Conference with the Nets and the Raptors and the Bulls that are struggling right now. Well, not the Raptors. They're not struggling, but just some of these average teams below them that they can get the 14th spot and in the playoff tier. So going on to number 13, we have the Utah Jazz. Going to be dropping down a spot. This week going 2-3, so a little bit coming back down to the earth this week. They've lost 3 straight for Utah. Yeah, it's a frustrating stretch for the Jazz, but this clearly, a lot of people can't be mad if a 3-game losing streak. I'm a Jazz fan. I know I'm not mad. This team had low expectations coming into the year. Everyone counted them out. Oh, by the way, this team is in the play-in tournament here. Yeah, but everyone counted out this team, but they just battled. They got a lot of wins to start out the year. Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, a very, just very cohesive team here in Utah, and that's led to wins. And they obviously got Will Hardy, their coach, who I think has been an excellent hire. And right now I do think is the Coach of the Year candidate for me. So good start for the Jazz. Coming back down to earth a little bit this week, but only going to be dropping down 1 spot for it, and at 13. All right, number 12. Okay, probably a little bit of disagreement on this one, but jumping up 4 spots this week, we have the Portland Trailblazers for the last play-in team. Yeah, Portland, it's a rough team to say right now. Predict, because this team has gotten the wins. They've played excellent. But the one thing about the Trailblazers, I just don't really trust this team come playoff time. Damian Lillard, superstar player. He's carrying this team. He's a great player for the Blazers. But I just don't think that's enough for them. Just Lillard. Simmons is playing great for this team. Don't get me wrong. They got Jermaine Grant. They got Jurkic. But I feel like this is just the Damian Lillard show, and I don't think that's going to be enough to get past all these other better teams. I got to give credit to the Trailblazers, though. They've played excellent basketball so far, and they deserve to get their flowers. But I saw your comments in my last video. I didn't get a chance to thank you guys, but 300 views or something last video. That was insane. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully I get near as much this time around. It's been the second time where I've got 300 plus views. But anyway, going back to the Blazers, I saw your comments about, the Blazers should be higher. Why are they so low right now? The thing is I just don't think that Lillard's going to be able to carry this team to a championship. And very similar to the next team I'm about to say. It's just, I think there might need more. in Portland. And Lillard, I don't think, is enough. But this team is close to breaking my ice and going way up if they keep this up. But right now, 10-4, I am going to hold back on Portland for a little bit. Because remember, guys, this is a power rankings list, not a standings list. Blazers I had coming in 20 in the year, like 20th something down there. Sometimes you cannot overreact to crazy starts. We've seen it time and time again, and teams start to cool off. Blazers, not saying that they are going to cool off, but they might. So that's where I have the Trailblazers at 12. Let's move on to number 11. We're going to have the Dallas Mavericks here. Going to be dropping down a spot, and this team is very similar to the Blazers. It's the Luka Doncic show. They got Spencer Dinwiddie. They got a few other pieces, but it is the Luka Doncic show for the Mavericks. And I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to be a contender in this league. You know, they lost out on Brunson. Brunson had an excellent playoffs for the Mavs. I think if they had Brunson, this team might be able to get over the hump. But I'm just not sold on the Dallas Mavericks right now at 8-5. Number 10, the Heat. Another team, kind of like the Sixers. This probably feels... Oh, not the Suns. Let me get back down the Suns. The Heat. At 7-7. You know, this team, very sluggish start to the year. At 4-7 last week, but they won 3 straight games. And they're right back into this tier. Right back into this playoff tier. Very close to jumping into the contenders tier right now. So you got to give credit to Jimmy Butler and the Heat. They're turning things around right now. Congratulations. Playing good basketball. That's what you need if you're a Heat fan. Moving on to number 9, we're going to have the Atlanta Hawks at 9-5, staying at the same spot this week. They went 2-2, so good week for the Hawks. Solid week enough. It's obviously Trae Young and DeJounte Murray really playing good basketball for this Hawks team. This team struggles on defense, though. It is just clear. But they're able to score enough points to win a lot of games, and that's really what the Hawks formula is right now. This team has a very bright future. They got a lot of young pieces with Murray and Young. So this team could be scary in the future, but they're just breaking the ice right now for the Hawks. And I'm not ready to put this team in the contender tier yet. A 2-2 week isn't enough for me. So I'm going to keep him down at 9. All right, let's go on to the contender tier now. The best of the best, in my opinion. Starting out with number 8, we're going to have the Golden State Warriors, 6-8. Okay, get back to playing Warriors basketball this week. Go 3-1. Clearly had a championship hangover for a while there, but Steph Curry finally playing like himself again, and this team getting the job done. And getting back to 6-8 now, they're going to have to break the ice, like I said, and get back to 500 a bit for me to jump them up. So they're going to stay at 8. I didn't overreact to a 3-7 start, and I'm glad I did because they bounced back. So moving on to number 7, we're going to have the LA Clippers. Kawhi Leonard just waiting there, getting all healed up for his return. He has only played 2 games, so take as much stock as you want in that. But right now, Paul George is leading this team with Leonard, and I do think this team is probably even higher than this and probably at a better record. But I'm just going to, go back and forth because I have no idea if Leonard, what's going on with Kawhi Leonard right now. And I'm just going to keep him at 7. It's just a weird team to rank right now without Kawhi Leonard in the lineup. I think 7 is an appropriate spot for them in the contender tier, though, as they go 2-1 this week. So let's go into number 6. We're going to have the Cleveland Cavaliers going to be dropping down a spot, coming back down to earth a little bit this week. The Cavs lose 4 straight games, so that's frustrating. But I can't, like I said, I can't overreact to these sorts of things. The Clippers below them, not going to drop them below them, and then the Warriors below them as well, not going to drop them below them. I still think this team's very good. Donovan Mitchell's playing at an elite level. Garland can be better for this team, but I do like him. Got a solid defense here in Cleveland, very young team, and I think the Cavs are going to be just fine right now at 6. And then flipping with the Cavs, number 5, we're going to have the Denver Nuggets at 9-4. Jamal Murray starting to play very solid here. This team goes 3-1 this week, so just another solid week for the Denver Nuggets here, playing decent basketball, and are going to be sitting at number 5 because of it. Jokic, the 2-time reigning MVP, doing his thing for this team. And with Murray back, I do think this team is a very legitimate basketball team at 5 right now and should deserve to be there. All right, let's go to number 4. We're going to have the Phoenix Suns. This week go 1-2, so not a very good week for the Suns, but still very much like the Suns right here. Rough week for Devin Booker and company, but I think they're just going to be just fine here. The Suns are still a very good coach team. They're going to bounce back, I think. With Chris Paul and Devin Booker, solid team with DeAndre Ayton as well. Very explosive offense here in Phoenix. At 8-5, probably would like to be better for the Suns right now, but they're fine right there at 4. Going on to number 3, we're going to have the Memphis Grizzlies right here, staying at the same spot. Memphis, also another frustrating week. Well, not frustrating. They go 2-2, so not too bad for the Grizzlies. But it's tight between the Grizzlies, Suns, and Nuggets right now, I think, in the West for the best team there. I am leaning towards the Grizzlies a little bit. They got John Morant. This team is very young and very explosive. Really can blow out a lot of teams if they get hot. But I also think this team could lose, games that they probably should win. So the Grizzlies are a very solid team. Very competitive team, very gritty team as well, and they find themselves at 3. All right, so the 2 best teams, the margin, the gap very much slimmed this week. It's tight between the top 2, and clearly I think the top 2 teams right now. The Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks both staying at the same spot here. Very tight. Let's start out with the Celtics. Celtics haven't lost a beat, losing their coach right now. They're playing just as good as ever, getting the job done here in Boston, playing with a very good defense. Jason Tatum's playing obviously great basketball, and this team is very, very good. And then number 1, the Milwaukee Bucks. I do think that what elevates this team right now is Giannis is the MVP over Jason Tatum, in my opinion. I like Giannis a little bit more. So I think the Bucks are the better team in that regard. They're 10-3 right now. They're playing very excellent basketball. They did go 1-2 this week, so that kind of worries you. That's why the gap slimmed as the Celtics went undefeated at 4-0. But yeah, the Bucks I think are just going to be just fine, and they are the best team in the NBA, in my opinion. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the content. I'm sure we're going to have some disagreement, especially with that Trailblazers down there. I'm sure y'all are going to throw out your comments at me saying the Blazers should be at number 1 or whatever. Probably. But anyway, guys, thank y'all for watching. Peace out.